Hey guys, notice the ray of light on my face, so I'll work with it. Um, how's everyone doing today? I just wanted to share a concept. This is episode 2 of Behind the Words podcast. And I wanted to share a concept today that I feel like can be very beneficial to all of us. It's definitely expressive of where I've gone on my journey. Um, this theme of today is called, and also the song is called Commitment Plus Desire. And really, it's desire equals commitment. You know, what I found a strong factor of me staying committed to any endeavor is a desire. But deeper than that is that when I'm committed to something that I grew up with. So many of us have grown up in systems, in family systems, or in patterns. I'll speak for myself. I grew up, that's actually really personal. So many of us grow up in systems. It could be religious systems, sects within Yiddishkeit, let's say if we're talking within the Jewish atmosphere of life. We've grown up in systems that didn't necessarily serve all our needs. Say our family system didn't necessarily serve all our needs, right? So what we're needing to do is to expand our horizons and introduce ourselves to different, say, organizations, institutions, friend groups, or really for me, my experience has been just introducing myself to different networks of people, of therapy modules, of different things that I need to do in my life, say if it's like B12 steps or different psychedelic movements that there are, and like, or different types of therapies, many different groups that I've involved myself in that were not from my upbringing and didn't at all necessarily care or have anything to do with my religious upbringing of Torah and mitzvahs, and me personally growing up Lubavitch. So for me, I needed to expand my horizons to learn how to, for me personally in my life, to learn how to eat healthily, to learn how to stop certain patterns, addictions, and learn how to live in a way that was really all of a sudden meeting the needs that I always felt I needed. Certain groups that were very mindful. I found mindfulness to help me tremendously with my mind, and so I found networks of individuals that were very mindful and slow and present and really taking consideration, holding such compassion for one another. And I merited to be included in certain groups of people that were just very real. And let's just say God, for example, was very real, and relying upon God to save them in their day and turning to Hashem for surrender. And then later on in life, I grew and was able to meet other different parts of Yiddishkeit that I didn't grow up with. Say, like, for example, the Breslev community. I was able to find certain joy and playfulness and fun and like a certain real communication with Hashem as your Father that I didn't grow up with. And little did I know that like everything I found along my journey didn't belong to them. A big piece of my journey is to bring it back to home for me, where I grew up with, and recognizing that the food patterns that I have when I was younger didn't belong to Torah, didn't belong to Chabad. I can live a life with Torah and Chabad that has this mindfulness, healthy food patterns and conscious eating, a certain slowness and presence and breath throughout my day that I learned in psychedelic circles to have. I learned breath there. I learned the power of breath, the power of perseverance, certain activities such as ice plunges, and just different things that I've learned, a lot of perspective was given to me on how to handle certain problems or boundaries between people that I was able to learn in certain 12-step programs, a certain relationship of having a personal higher power that you can talk to in your own words. That's not something I really grew up with for the most part. And say, for example, the language of love, being around people that have such love in between them, that they're not in the network of upbringing that I grew up with. So a big journey for me has been to be able to bring that all back home for me, to live my life with the purity of Torah mitzvahs and the truth of the Chabad Hasidus that I grew up with, and to re-enter it with all of this experience that I have, to bring it about in life with the play and joy and fun that I found in other circles of life that I personally didn't experience in my upbringing. And to be able to create that with Hashem in this, bringing it back home. I heard from someone that I ate by his Friday night meal. I heard from him. He said, "Uvikashtem misham." We ask Hashem, we inquire from there. And he was interesting. He spoke about this vart, that you can't find something other than the place it was lost. Now, I'm not speaking absolute truths, but there was something beautiful to that I found. That at the end of the day, whatever I find in life, tools, exercises, principles at work to be able to be used, at the end of the day, no one's going to tell me who I am. No one. No one can tell you who you are. No circle in life can say, hey, you are this. That's something that's an identity matter, right? And for me, looking for my identity is not going to be found anywhere else than where it was already lost. And for me, growing up as a Yid and as a Chabad Chassid, which you get to choose, your affiliation with Yiddishkeit, but being brought up there, I recognize that the beauty and truth that lies there is something that I'm not going to find anywhere other than here at home. And so that is the commitment factor of this segment, this podcast, that I'm now going to enter into the desire segment of this podcast. And the desire segment of this podcast is, so staying committed, before we enter into the desire, staying committed, just to drive this home, is if I'm stuck in a pattern that's not working for me, then it's on me to change, to find places, people, institutions, find people and find networks that have what you have. I found in many different places. I found in 12-step programs, different therapy groups that I went to, different communities that I joined. I was able to find what I was looking for. So that is the first point, is that commitment has a devil to it. Stay committed to what you're already involved in. You signed up to a job, stay. No. If I'm not being given the needs and desires that I have, I need to look elsewhere to find, where can I find this? And then the commitment element that I would say, and what I would love to drive home about, and what I'm writing about, and I'm actually writing a song about, is that bringing it all back home, not getting lost in somewhere that helped me with food, behavior, breath, mindfulness, addictions, that I was able to heal addictions. I found that many people like to identify with these circles because they've helped them so much. I, in a certain periods of my life, identified with it because these are my people, because they've helped me with issues that I have. But then later on in life, I found that I was never my issues, and I don't belong to a circle of influence that have helped me heal certain issues. It's not who I am. The question is if I can bring this back to my family, bring this back to my identity of being a Jewish person, my neshama, and for me back to my circle of Chabad, like that I found that is cherished and is my truth. So many of us have gone places. Many of us have left our upbringing to find answers and have found answers. And I think the level of commitment before we get into desire is, can I bring it back home? That's the journey. Can I bring it back home? Can I bring it back home to my family and not change my family because of what I found? Can I bring it back home to my Torah and to my mitzvahs? Can I bring it back home to my Judaism, to my Shabbos? I found that it was very difficult for me to participate in Shabbos for many years because of my struggle with food. Now, can I bring my answer back to live Shabbos, but with the healthy way that I live it? And I think it's like this with everything. Can I bring it back home? Can I bring it back home? That's commitment. For me, commitment is that if I grew up in a system that's not serving me, I need to find answers elsewhere. But the question is, after the whole journey, can I bring it back home and live it at home? That is where the gold is. That's where the gold is. And teach it to my fellows. And bring it to my fellows and say, hey guys, what if we do it this way? I learned this elsewhere and this can work here. I think that's amazing if I can do that. And that's what I'm writing about, is something called commitment. Now, commitment is not, the devil of commitment is to stay committed to something which is hurting me. In a little instant, if I said I'm going to show up to a meeting and all of a sudden my wife starts giving birth then, I'm like, no, I can't go with you, honey. I need to show up to my work meeting tomorrow. That's an unhealthy form of commitment, if you ask me. There's no absolute rights and wrongs. This is just my opinion. I think that's an OCD form of commitment, right? Well, you tell your ass, hey, my wife's giving birth, let's reschedule for tomorrow. That would be healthy, right? So the devil of commitment is to stay committed to something which is not serving you at all, and is also not your home. But the question is, if the healthy form of commitment, which I would find is that there's a certain home that we all have. And many of us were brought up in a very destructive, dysfunctional home. And for that, we left home completely. And for no bad reason. And I think you saved your life by doing that. Chaim, speaking to myself. The question is if we can bring back home the life we always wanted and we didn't get, and we were disserved. Can we bring it back home? That is commitment. Commitment is that this is not working for me, so I'm leaving. And I find different tools to live in the way that I really want. And the question is can I bring that back home? That's the words I keep saying. Can I live the life that I grew up with, go back to my upbringing, and now change it completely with everything I've learned from all the different circles of influence, institutions, different sects of Judaism that I found? Can I bring it back home? And what I found in my journey is that Torah, mitzvahs, Chabad, for me personally, never defied the healthy patterns I wanted, the mindfulness I wanted, the slowness that I wanted, the sense of sincere personal relationship with God, the communication that I have with God, the type of work that I want to have, the type of family that I want to have, the type of experience I want to feel with the person I choose to love. None of this was none of the love I want to experience in my house, the playfulness I want to experience, the art I want to experience, everything I want to experience. Can I bring it back home? And then I find out after that not only was this not a hindrance to home, but what if God sent me on this entire journey to reveal these layers of the Torah? It says, Shivim Panim LaTorah. What if God sent me on this entire journey? I don't know God, so I'll never know what his story was. But what if there's a narrative of me having gone on this entire journey to reveal these factors of the Torah? So whatever it is that you're seeking and you're not finding at home or in the home that you grew up in, what if you were there feeling all of this and having to go on your journey to reveal in Torah, in your home, this strand of life that needed you to be born with the struggles that you have, to be able to conquer and win, and for that to be brought back home, for the rest of your family to experience, for you to experience where you feel most safe in your essence at home as a Jew. So that's really what I wanted to share. And as I share this with you, I'm experiencing a certain level of freedom from being able to express this to you guys. So, I'm gonna leave. I think this is long enough. This is commitment plus desire. We didn't get into desire. Desire we're gonna leave for itself. So this is what I'm gonna share with you guys. We're gonna share next week about desire, okay? I wanna sing a song for you guys that I wrote, composed together with a friend. And there's no words to it, but from everything you heard, I would ask you to close your eyes. And then we end off with one more piece, which is I ask everyone to exercise something for the week. So I would love to share this song with you and let it bring up what it brings up from the music. And here we go. Guys, Shavua Tov. The exercise that I would bring home is, we all have gone on a journey in this life. Not a single one of us. If you're in this generation, you've been on a journey. If you're living your truth, you've been on a journey. So I think the one quest I would put us all on, whoever have listened to this podcast, the one quest I would put us on for this week is, where can we step into our home and bring in something that we stepped away from home to find? It's a very, very general quest, meaning there's so many ways to live this. Different ways to live this. It could be having a conversation with your father, but with like a certain presence that you always wanted to have, and to just hold it for yourself regardless of the other person on the phone. It could be opening up a siddur and reading words in English and connecting to Hashem with an established prayer from your upbringing, but in a way that you are connecting in the way you've come to experience God on your own, without religion, but bringing it back home to how I grew up. It could be anything. It could be doing a Shabbos candle. It could be doing Shabbos. It could be sitting and learning with a tea and without pressure, and know it, just something that you want to do. What's a way that we can merge the home with the journey that you've been on, and somehow bring it back home? Friends, this is commitment. Commitment is to bring it back home. That is what I have to share today. L'chaim.